You know what? Halloween ends and Jeepers Creepers. So Dylan, I'm gonna end with you because I got a good question to pose to you because I doubt you're seeing Halloween ends and I doubt you're seeing Jeepers Creepers, but I got a thought-provoking one. I think so. Taylor Field, I think you and I somehow were on the same wavelength that Halloween Kills did not really work for us. I think it worked for you more so than me. I don't think you failed it. I think I failed it, but I still think you admitted that you were kind of disappointed in it. Did this trailer do anything to get you going? Because it was a lot of shots of just Jamie Lee and Michael running around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't show a lot, and I attribute that to being they have a few surprises up their sleeve for this because they're treating it again. It's Halloween ends, the conclusion of the trilogy, so Michael has survived this whole year, and now he's back, and Jamie Lee Curtis is just in a standard home now, fully aware that Michael is out there and decorated her home for Halloween. It looks like too, judging by this trailer. So it's questionable. I don't know. Like from what they showed, it's hard for me to buy into it. Like I feel like she would have spent the whole year literally hunting Michael Myers down. Instead, she's just standing in her bedroom with the gun pointed at the doorway. What if that was her granddaughter that walked in? Holy shit. Could have been real bad, but alas, here we are. It didn't give me any substance to really run with. It was just a little bit of just, ooh, and then that's pretty much it. I have high expectations because I think I want to think that this is going to be like a good banger closeout to the trilogy, that maybe they'll see what didn't really work in the previous movie and that maybe they'll apply it this time around and deliver on it, hopefully. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, Halloween, this whole trilogy has been such a disappointment, but Halloween Kills left me in such a bad spot. I get why they did they did this big kill. I won't say who, but they did a big kill that would motivate Jamie Lee. I think that was great for finale. We got that awful scene of those guys beating him down and he just resurrect himself. You can go check out our review.
So good. I love that scene.
It was good, but it wasn't. Either way, so this trailer does nothing for me at all. It's just people running around doing Halloween stuff. So I don't think you're going to get anything. And I do think, Taylor, you should lower your expectations. I'm not going to say what they are. I have just seen some of the talk of what the test screenings are and what the plot line has been. And man, if it's true, I am not looking forward to that. And I'm not even talking about, they had talked about this a few years ago that the director's like, yeah, and then in Halloween Ends, because Espo's right, it's a 4-year time jump where, oh yeah, and we're going to cover COVID. I do not want Halloween Ends to be covering COVID at all. Like, I don't go to my Halloween movie to be like, how is Michael Myers and Laurie Strode struggling with COVID? It can be in movies, but I just don't see the filmmakers that have tackled the first two handling that. Well, I'm not saying it's going to be offensive, just like I don't see that other than just a almost gimmick that they're going to use. Taylor, you got your ET finger up.
So I thought it was a 1 year. It's a 4-year time jump.
Yeah,
in the last movie.
So
Holy fuck.
Michael's been on the run for 4 years now, and I guess Jamie Lee's just been hunting him down. But yeah, I've just heard some things about the plot and some of the characters in this that I'm not a fan of, and I've just heard that people said like, yeah, they're probably gonna mismarket it a different way, and that's what this trailer is, because I just feel like they're just showing scary stuff running around, and I will be there. I love Michael Myers. I love Jason Voorhees. I like my horror Halloween icon. So I will see it out, and it's probably the last time Jamie Lee will play the role, so I'm excited to see that. But I don't know. But Dylan, I know you saw the first one. I doubt you saw the second one, and I don't think you'll be seeing the second one to see this one, correct?
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
There you go. So now I'm gonna ask Dylan, what's your history with Jeepers Creepers? Have you seen anything with Jeepers Creepers before? Because I feel like the original was one they played on TV a lot that kids like saw, but I don't know if you did.
I don't think I did. It's possible somewhere back there, but it's not something I can bring forth in the memory banks.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, and then I'm going to throw it back to Dylan, and then I'm going to throw it to Taylor. Not to crush your hype, Taylor, but I just want to ask this question, because I talked about this with Dylan as well.
I thought you said, when you said go, I thought you meant like you were just going to leave.
I thought he was done.
No, sorry.
No. What is this?
Just to get the full situation. So I saw Jeepers Creepers, same thing, that same situation on TV, and just like, what the fuck is this movie? Such a good movie. I don't know if it's a top 10 horror movie, but it's on that precipice. It's on the cusp, right? Number 2, it's fine. It's a good flick. I actually think it's a better than fine. I really like the Creeper character. And then what happened is this director goes away for a little bit, and we're waiting for Jeepers Creepers 3 and things like that. And I can't wait because I'm a huge Jeepers Creeper fan. And then in that time, there was some controversy. It happened in the past, but it come again. That this guy, unfortunately, he was arrested for pedophilia and like child pornography and all this stuff. And so I could not watch the third one. I've not been able to watch the other two. Now, the good thing about this is Jeepers Creeper Reborn has nothing to do with him. He's getting no funds. That's what the studio says. He's not directing it, written it, nothing like that. I just hate that the one that he's not part of, for me, I'm not a fan of. Or like, this just looks super cheap. It looks very like I have no interest in seeing this. I was like, man, I can't wait. Jeepers Creepers. I like this type of character. I got a director of hopefully a guy that's just a normal person that wants to make films, and this just looks super generic. They don't even show the creeper's face, and that's sort of the rumor is like the budget's really, really low. But that's where like I know Dylan, you probably saw this trailer, but also because we were talking about this because I was talking about it with Taylor and Jessica, who she's a big Creeper fan, but she didn't know this as well. What do you have in your like? Where do you draw the line as far as? And I think we've kind of dipped our toes in this before. Maybe we're getting a little serious, but I just wanted to ask, like, where do you draw the line as far as like the art, separating the art from the artist? Because it's like I loved those movies, but I still haven't been able to go back and watch those. I haven't watched that third one, and Taylor has. I'm not trying to say Taylor's a bad person because like other people have and things like that, and there's people that listen to music, all this stuff. Like, where do you go on sort of that front? If you haven't seen Jeepers Creepers, I was just wondering, like, how do you space that apart? Especially like with us, we had seen all these films way before we knew any of this stuff, right? Like, how does that? I don't know if that impacts you. I guess we even deal with it in gaming community and stuff like that too sometimes, right? Like, look at an
it happens
Activision
in music.
stuff,
Yeah,
right?
it happens everywhere for sure. Yeah, I think it's something that's very difficult on a personal level to deal with. I mean, you really just got to take it like on a case by case basis for me. And there is, I'm trying to think of something that like I've not been able to go back and enjoy because of like things that have happened. Like I feel like I still like the movie Baby Driver, even though Kevin Spacey is like a
that's a
fucking
big
weirdo.
one.
So,
Yeah, and I can still watch that somehow. But it's just like I guess for me it's where I always get hung up is on because he directed it, that it's like his full like his vision and everything. That's where it's like the actor's one piece of this little thing. I can kind of separate that, but when it's like the whole guy behind it, it's like I can't get behind it, you know?
Yeah, I think that is definitely a level that's like too far gone, and I can't think of any like I don't know music or game or movie that I've enjoyed that like that kind of information came out about later on. But I feel like I'd be in the same boat as you. Like I can't watch that anymore. I think that's definitely like far over the line, and I don't know where my line is.
But that's one that's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this trailer,
it's a tricky thing to deal with. So I know where you're coming from, and yeah, I feel like the trailer. I mean, I feel like both these trailers did very little for me. The Halloween ones, like, I don't know what is this? Like, I feel like they had filmed this trailer in like 5 minutes. They're like, okay,
100%,
just like rough her up a little bit, and like,
yeah.
Oh, we have this gun prop. Like here, like take this gun prop. Like the scene Taylor was alluding to, just very weird. And yeah, I didn't really like that one that came out in. When was that? The one
2018.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was that long ago. Like it had some decent stuff in it, but I don't know, wasn't that great. So, yeah, Jeepers Creepers. I don't know if it was necessarily the budget thing for me. Like there was like I would be more interested in Jeepers Creepers than Halloween based on like if I had to pick between these trailers, but I don't think either of them are winners.
Yeah, and that's the same thing, Superbad Mike, and that's where like you can completely call me a hypocrite because the Bryan Singer thing that has happened, and it's because like unfortunately Bryan Singer.
I don't even know what went on there, to be honest.
It's similar situation, like similar things that he never got, and that's where me and Taylor are talking about that with other people. It's where he never got convicted, where this guy had pled guilty, done time, but that's where it's like that's tough because you got like Hugh Jackman in the first two X-Men and Days of Future Past. Days of Future Past, which I think is the best X-Men movie that's ever been made that's just like about the team. He directed that, and that's where it's like it's just so tough, and I don't even think about that. Like, and I guess it's just because with that, I think because this was one of the first times I had found out about that. But like Taylor, you're the same as me that like we and Clay said the same thing. He saw these before he didn't even know. Like, I think we had talked about before on cast like how much we put him in the poll. We talked about Halloween times, like especially that first one is just so good, and the tension's so good, and it creates like this really cool character. Maybe this is part of the reason why it got held back a little bit in the future. People wanting not to like go around it. That's where I kind of hope this reboot, this trailer, maybe it looks for me not the greatest. It looks very low budget. I know Taylor, you're like, I didn't like the fact that it was in a house because all the other cheaper creepers have been like he's flying around and doing all this stuff and everything like that. But this just feels like, hey, we don't got much money. Let's put the creeper in a house with the kids, and that's all we're gonna do and stuff like that. But you've sounded more positive on it. And the good thing is with this movie, you don't got to worry about anything because it's it's a hopefully normal people working behind this.
Yeah, for me, like, you look at the second one. The second one was mostly focused on just that bus. Yeah, you go out and about a little bit too with a couple of road scenes, but that was really not till the climactic parts of the film.
But the
which
bus
very
you got
well
to
could
fly.
exist.
You got to
What's
fly
that?
around. The bus you got to fly around.
True, and he very well could be flying inside the house. There's a lot of ample living room space, so we'll see. But it looks like we got to go to the carnival too and everything. So there are definitely going to be some interesting things. I honestly think they're going to go to the house just to party and have a good time, and then like maybe they'll just like run away and get to like the carnival, and that's when like the creeper's just going to go fucking bonkers and killing people. As far as like crossing the line goes, I saw the first two way before I knew anything about what he did. And you know what? Am I a bad person? I like to think I'm not, but like when I found out about that thing, did I watch the movie, the third one, to support him and everything? Not a freaking chance. I watched it because I wanted to see the continuation of the story that was created.
Well, and you didn't also, I think, watch it in a way that was, as Travis Hines would say, you watched off the back of the trailer, which people have said to watch it that way, and that's
yeah. My neighbor was watching it. I was just peering through the living room window and watched the whole thing that way. It was a good time.
Your neighbor has complained about you now because
many times. I keep watching his movies, but
yeah.
I think where the line is drawn, it's definitely just down to a personal opinion, I guess, a personal like a perspective and affection of how this can hit you. Because at least for me, what a director does, when I'm a viewer, I don't have much association with the directors necessarily and what they've done that is very horrible in life. I have more of that with the actors. So when I watch something with Kevin Spacey, that like hits me a little bit more, and I've actually not gone back, and I bought Baby Driver before this whole thing with Kevin Spacey came out. I bought it on DVD, and it's a movie I've always wanted to go back and see, but ever since this happened, I've actually never gone back and watched it. And the only time I did a Kevin Spacey movie was that was it the Patreon one where he
American Beauty we had to do.
That was the only time. But other than that, I'm not actively seeking out, and I just maybe that's where I draw the line when like actors do things, because now that their representations that I got to enjoy them in these movies has been just saturated and just disgusted, and I don't like that. Whereas it's different with a director, because sure, that is their mind behind the project, but I guess I'm not visually seeing them, and I'm seeing these other actors deliver this story. So I guess that's where I'm at with it.
Well, and the tough thing is because people always do, whether it's like them saving themselves or not, the argument is like, well, it's not that you're just not supporting that guy, but like also the other people that worked on that could be completely innocent. Now, again, I guarantee there were some people for sure during these productions that didn't know this stuff was happening and things like that. So it's kind of like, do you punish the whole cast and crew for anything? It's the same conversation. It's not to the same level, but it's the same conversation about like Ezra and the Flash, people going, well, I'm going to boycott that movie because of their activities, right? But then you go, well, then what about this new girl who's Supergirl, and this is like a big moment for her and stuff like that, but could you just kill that career right there? So it's like, I think like Dylan said, it's a case by case, but it's just one of these things of any times it comes up. Now I think maybe in reverse, I probably will still maybe watch this and review with you, Taylor, because I'm always down to watch some bad horror movies and stuff like that. Now I want to ask you like a complete now in the plot sense, I remember you always tell me like, oh, you're excited that they were setting up that Trish, like the character. They set up a character in Jeepers Creepers 1, and so like, oh, she's come back. And it seemed like that was going to be the plot of this one, but now it seems like because they've maybe rechanged some things, directors, everything like that, that doesn't seem like they're continuing on anything. So like, are you fine if there's no ties to sequels and it's just like, here's a creeper adventure, as someone that you were kind of, I thought, getting excited for some of those characters to return from the original and stuff like that?
I would have been game for an OG character to reprise their role and go toe to toe with the creeper, but at the end of the day, maybe it's just the Predator aspect, us doing like the Predator retros, but I'm really liking the anthology horror vibes, like
terrible timing with that word.
Oh yeah, no, not ideal. The Yautja Predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Alien. I think that.
What did you just say? I'm on the Predator retros with you, and I'm not even following what you're talking about.
The Yautja, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Alien.
What's Yautja?
That's the Predator tribe. Their species,
what do you mean?
The Yautja.
They're called the Yautjas?
Yaujta. Yeah.
I never knew that, and you probably
I
mentioned
know
to
I've
me.
told you that. I've told you that so
Just
many
refer to them
times.
as the Predators, not the Yachas.
Well, I can't because we're talking about GeekVerse.
I guess you're right. Yeah. So the Yachas, I'll try and remember that now. The Yachas are the Predator
Yachas.
aliens.
Like, yeah.
That's the best. Like they fight the Xenomorphs. That's a cool name. The best thing they had from them was the Yachas. They sound like a drink on like some restaurant or something. Like give me a
It
Yacha.
looks cooler when you write it on paper than you say it. But no, I think that the anthology aspect for horror movies, I really like that idea, and maybe that's the key, the way to go. We're getting like a trilogy for obviously Halloween, but maybe that's not what they should have done. Maybe we got that one send off Halloween,
Yeah.
like the first one, which was great, and then all after that, it's just here and there anthology films, just Michael Myers going around just dealing with different people instead of always trying to bring in the main character or whatever. Like that's what that old Friday the 13th was from like 2009. And well, no, that was more like a remake because he gets his mask and stuff. But we don't need the origin story and we don't need the sequel story. Just give us an anthology story in that universe because it works for me.
In retrospect, I really wish they did the anthology thing of Halloween. If we could have killed off Jamie Lee, and as much as I like Jamie Lee, because now where we are, this whole 3-film thing, and oh man, you never will, Dylan. But I hope one day you just somehow have to watch Halloween 2 and just see what a fucking weird movie it is. Like it's not weird like A24. It's just like the choices they made and like Taylor, you remember that riot scene when they chased that hospital patient down and everything like that?
Yeah, the people were very rowdy in that moment.
It's a strange movie. But anything else on those trailers, movies, anything like that? Well, we did it. This is our last newscast before our next few days here. We got Nope, we got the Comic-Cons, and I hope when we're here on Saturday night and we're reflecting on Comic-Con, that was a great weekend and not a bunch of disappointment stuff. But either way, we'll have some fun. A big thank you to everyone in the live chat and the people that sent us questions, always keeping us on our toes, educating us, telling us we're wrong and everything like that. And SWAP says he's gonna be watching the Halloween movies for the first time this year. That's a good time to do it. I'm excited for you gotta watch even Halloween 3, and you know what? There may or may not be a retrospective happening around the holiday season. So look at that. So that same thing like the Predator one. Jurassic World. Taylor made thumbnails. I had made thumbnails for the Halloween retrospectives like years ago. I think they're on my old laptop.
Did you really?
Yeah, because
you sent me some of them a long time ago.
We were supposed to do it in 2018, but we just got too
Right.
busy because it was just around like Endgame time and stuff. But yeah, those might be on my old laptop though. I don't even know if I have them.
Gotta pull those out. Gotta use them.
So patrons, maybe look out for that. But actually, no, I won't use those. When we look at our old thumbnails, we got some negative spicy ones, So before I learned what like actual like you couldn't just
Before
change
you didn't have a mouse back then.